Why this type of art? I do lino cuts because it brings me closer to my ancestral practice, identity, reality. Um, it creates some kind of closure to this nebulous existence that sometimes it feels like very blurring. Being black in Denmark, that's like the spiritual reason why, because the Makonde people where I come from in Mozambique, um, they are wood carvers. So I grew up around a lot of elderly people, aunties and uncles, granddaddies and mothers that work with the chisel, mainly on wood. And I really didn't really pay attention being the Makonde for me because of that colonized mindset. I was a bit ashamed about it because they also carved their faces with the tattoo, as you can see, my triangle tattoo, and several other marks in the face. So the people of the chisel, I was always like, oh my God, here they come, the complicated ones. But now that I'm an adult and I live in Denmark, I understand more my culture, background. This is the closest I can continue their practice being here. Instead of working on wood, I work on lino cuts. The other reason why I do lino cuts is because it's easy for me to keep it and storage in my home. Otherwise, I always worked with the canvas and acrylic painting, and this is a little bit difficult to when you don't have a studio. Uh, your finances are limited, so it's kind of difficult for you to store so many canvases. In my basement right now, I can't even open the door because there's way too many canvases that I've done different abstract pictures, but mainly also narratives out of my blackness. So that's why I decided to work with lino cuts. It's continue the practice of the chisel, which is very connected with my Makonde heritage. It's easy to transport, it's easy to store, it's instant. Um, because I also would like art to be more accessible outside. I can do it anywhere I want. It's very meditative. Living in a world with so much noise, y'all should do some lino cuts. It shuts down everything. So how is it surviving as a black artist in Denmark? Hmm. I feel like art is what helps me survive in Denmark. If I didn't do art, I would have gone mad. I would have gone really, really mad. I would have done something to somebody. And then you have yeah, the capitalistic side of it. I don't sell my art enough to survive out of it. I have to find some other side jobs. This is what I do when I'm not cleaning white people's ass. This is what I do where I come to rebel against the violence that I experience outside. Being a black artist in Denmark, you always have to think if you're going to survive, your art has to be filtered by white gaze, white expectations. Um, and that's exactly what I mean revolting against. I'm not gonna do art because you wanna hear me speaking about my queerness and my transness, because that's what you wanna hear. I'm not gonna do art because He has to be contemporary, and no, I do it as a way to communicate with my ancestors, um, to like listen to the inner voices and the poetry, to listen to the revolutionary voices that walked this path of survival before me. So art is what makes me survive in Denmark spiritually, but art doesn't necessarily always take care of me financially, because you have to do what is expected of you. And for that, you have to participate, belong into this artistic, I would call elite group. You have to be in academia. You have to know all the white artists, whatever the Picassos, whatever the Mona Lisas. I don't even care. They don't do nothing to me. So the idea of art is always from a white lenses and a white world view. And in that case, I'm an autodidactic artist. I'm learning out of remembering, out of the memory of my body. What words would I have to an aspiring African artist? In one word, I would say authenticity. Be authentic to who you are. Be authentic to your story. Be truth and loyal to your story. Don't try to fit in or try to figure out what's going on, what's on now, what's popular, what's not popular. No. Be authentic to your pain. What is the thing that transforms you on a daily basis? What is the stuff that makes you queer? What is the stuff that makes you weird? And being African already is being a queer individual or entity. So authenticity is what I would advise for an aspiring African Black artist. I'm tired of the word representation. I don't think I want to stand as a representation. I think for me, it's just my aim is to teach and to inspire and to be leading by showing or leading by example to other African Black people that are in Denmark or that are out of Denmark. Just, I want to be a positive example. I want to be able to, if you can do this, I can do that. If this is of value, I can also find my own personal value. So for me, it's more inspire another Black person to survive, inspire another Black person to be authentic with themselves, and that's what I want. And in Denmark, we are still quite invisible. So I want my art to be able to, a Black person, an African person to see it and it's like, oh wow, this is me right there. And my art aims to say to other African artists in Denmark that I see you and you're not alone. And you can find me on Instagram, on my website, Jupiter Child Creations, Art Creation, JupiterChildArtCreations.com. Shout out to Jade. Yes. That's it. In terms of my material, when I work with Lino cuts, mainly I use Lino print colors. I think I have a few here. These, you can see the Lino. And depends, sometimes that you can also use oil, but that's a different treatment. Oil colors to Lino, so you have to clean it in a specific way. But that's just on the basis of Lino. These are Lino block prints. I have a bigger one here, like this. So just cut a small piece of it. I have like a mirror that I used to spread the color with a roller here. Oh, you gotta have this bad boy right here. This is a Lino print machine. I love this because this is very industrial. Normally I use my hands, um, but you also can have the smaller ones. Okay, and other than that, I use a lot of recycling. This is just an old carton that I had in my house, and I use it, just cut it pieces and try to put some block prints. I was trying to see how that would look, because otherwise you have to do professionally. You have to have a very professional photographer named Jade come and take a photograph of your art, and then you print in these nice, what would they call this, polyester fabrics? Yeah, mainly acrylic paint, lino paint, lino blocks, and any kind of recycling material that you can find. Just be creative, man. Be creative. Do whatever.